The Discovery DR. Elena Vasquez stared at the data streaming across her monitor, her coffee growing cold in the zero-gravity cup floating beside her workstation. The numbers dancing on the screen should not exist. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she had seen strange signals before, but nothing like this. A mathematical sequence was too perfect, too deliberate to be natural phenomena. "Computer, run the analysis again," she commanded, her voice barely above a whisper in the quiet research bay of the Aurora's edge. The ship's AI responded in its calm, measured tone. "Analysis complete. The signal originates from the Kepler 442 system, coordinates 19 hours 2 meters 53s, 4517. Signal strength suggests artificial origin. Probability of natural occurrence, 0.001%. Elena pushed herself away from her desk and floated toward the main viewing port. Outside, the stars hung like scattered diamonds against the black canvas of space. The Aurora's edge had been traveling for 8 months, cataloging dead systems and abandoned worlds on the outer rim of explored space. This was supposed to be a routine survey mission, not a first contact scenario. "Elena?" Captain Marcus Chun's voice crackled through the comm system. "Report to the bridge. We need to discuss your findings." She grabbed her datapad and propelled herself through the ship's corridors. The Aurora's Edge was a mid-size research vessel, designed for long-term exploration missions. Its crew of 25 specialists represented the best of human space. Exploration capabilities. The bridge was a hub of quiet activity. Captain Chun stood at the center, his weathered face displaying the calm confidence that had earned him command of one of Earth's most advanced research vessels. At 45, he had spent half his life in space, and it showed in the way he moved effortlessly in zero gravity. "What do you make of it, Elena?" he asked as she approached. "It's definitely artificial," she replied, activating her datapad. "The signal is broadcasting on multiple frequencies simultaneously, and the mathematical progression is too complex for natural phenomena. But here's the strange part. It's coming from a dead system." Lieutenant Sarah Kim looked up from her tactical station. "Dead how?" "The star went supernova approximately 12,000 years ago. There should be nothing left but a neutron star and debris." Elena pulled up the system analysis. "Yet somehow, this signal is broadcasting clearly and consistently." Engineer Tom Rodriguez whistled low. "That's impossible. No technology could survive a supernova, let alone continue broadcasting for millennia." Elena nodded. "That's what makes this so intriguing. The signal isn't just random noise or a simple beacon. It's a structured communication, almost like... What?" Captain Chun prompted. "Like a distress call, but one that's been broadcasting for 10,000 years." The bridge fell silent except for the gentle hum of the ship's systems. Everyone understood the implications. If this was truly a distress signal, it meant intelligent life had once existed in that system and somehow survived the destruction of their star. "Set course for Kepler 442, Captain Chun ordered. "Best possible speed." Tom turned from his engineering console. "Captain, that's a 3-week journey at maximum acceleration. Are you sure we should investigate without contacting Earth Command first?" "A distress call that's been broadcasting for 10,000 years can wait 3 weeks," Marcus replied. "But if there's any chance someone is still alive out there, we need to find out." The journey during the 3-week journey, Elena worked tirelessly to decode the signal. What she discovered both fascinated and terrified her. The signal wasn't just a distress call. It was a complex message containing mathematical formulas, star charts, and what appeared to be historical records. "Captain," she called over the comm one evening during the ship's night cycle, "you need to see this." Marcus found her in the communications lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing various aspects of the signal analysis. Her usually neat appearance was disheveled, and dark circles under her eyes suggested she hadn't been sleeping. Elena, when was the last time you took a break? Sleep is overrated when you're potentially making first contact with an alien civilization, she replied, gesturing to the displays. Look at this. The signal contains references to multiple species, not just one. The holographic display showed a complex web of interconnected data streams. Each stream was color-coded and labeled with different symbolic languages. I've identified at least 7 distinct linguistic patterns, Elena continued. 7 different species, all broadcasting together in a coordinated message. And Marcus, they're not just sending a distress call. They're sending a warning. A warning about what? Elena manipulated the display, highlighting specific sections of the decoded message. Near as I can translate, they're trapped in what they call a dimensional fold, some kind of pocket dimension that formed during their star's collapse. But every time another species has tried to rescue them, those rescuers have vanished too. Marcus studied the data, his expression growing more serious. How many rescue attempts? 17 that I can identify. The most recent was about 300 years ago. A species called the Vorthik sent a fleet of 12 ships. None returned. And the others? Same story. The Zelani Empire, the Keth Collective, the Moralian Federation, all advanced civilizations that responded to the distress call, all disappeared without a trace. Captain Shun was quiet for a long moment, processing the implications. So we're potentially flying into the same trap that claimed 17 other rescue attempts. It's possible, Elena admitted. But Marcus, we might be their only hope. The signal is getting weaker. Whatever's keeping them alive in that dimensional fold, it's failing. We might be the last species to receive their message. Why us? Why? Are we receiving it now when other species have been trying for thousands of years? Elena smiled for the first time in days. Because we're in the right place at the right time. The signal appears to be directional, and it's slowly rotating. It only points toward inhabited systems every few hundred years. We just happen to be in the right position when it swept through our area of space. The arrival of the Aurora's edge dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. What they found defied all expectations. The supernova remnant was there as expected, a rapidly spinning neutron star surrounded by an expanding cloud of stellar debris. But at the center of the system, occupying the space where the star's habitable zone once existed, was something that shouldn't exist. My God, Sarah whispered from her tactical station. What is that? Floating in space was a sphere of twisted reality, its surface rippling like water. It was roughly the size of Earth's moon, but it seemed to bend light around it, creating a halo effect that made it difficult to look at directly. It's a dimensional anomaly, Tom reported from his engineering station. The space-time fabric is literally folded in on itself. The physics readings are off the charts. Elena studied her communication equipment. The signal is definitely coming from inside that anomaly. Whatever's in there, it's been broadcasting for 10,000 years. Can we get a closer look? Marcus asked. I wouldn't recommend it, Sarah replied. I'm detecting massive gravitational fluctuations. Getting too close could tear the ship apart. Tom nodded in agreement. The dimensional fold is unstable. It's like a bubble in space-time that could collapse at any moment. Elena suddenly looked up from her console. Captain, I'm receiving a new transmission. It's different from the automated distress signal. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled to life, and a voice speaking accented English filled the air. Unknown vessel. This is Coordinator Zephyr of the Temporal Research Station Eternity. We have been monitoring your approach. Please identify yourself. Marcus stepped forward. This is Captain Marcus Chun of the Earth vessel Aurora's Edge. We received your distress signal and came to investigate. There was a pause. Then the voice returned, filled with what sounded like disbelief. Earth? The humans? But according to our records, your species has barely achieved interstellar travel. How did you travel so far from your home system? We've been exploring this sector for 8 months, Marcus replied. How do you know about humans? We have been monitoring galactic communications for thousands of years, Zephyr explained. We know of most spacefaring species, but humans were considered too primitive to attempt deep space exploration. Yet here you are, farther from your home system than any human has ever traveled. Elena stepped forward. Coordinator Zephyr, we received your distress signal. We understand you're trapped in a dimensional fold. We want to help. The alien's response was immediate and urgent. No, you must not attempt a rescue. 17 expeditions have tried to save us. All have failed. All have been lost. We broadcast our message not for rescue, but as a warning. A dimensional fold is a trap. It pulls in anyone who gets too close. Then how are you still alive after 10,000 years? Tom asked. Time moves differently here, Zephyr explained. For us, only a few months have passed since our star collapsed. But our instruments show thousands of years have elapsed in normal space. We are slowly dying as our reality tears apart around us. Marcus looked at his crew. Each face showed the same determination he felt. Coordinator Zephyr, we appreciate the warning. But we didn't come all this way to turn back now. There has to be a solution. Captain Chun, Zephyr's voice was filled with sadness. We have studied every failed rescue attempt. The Vorthik were masters of dimensional physics. The Zelani had technology far beyond your current capabilities. The Keth Collective had ships that could manipulate space-time itself. All failed because the dimensional fold cannot be breached. From the outside, Elena studied the readings on her console. What if we don't try to breach it from the outside? Elena? Marcus looked at her questioningly. The other species all tried to break into the dimensional fold or pull the trapped beings out. What if we try something different? What if we don't rescue them from the fold, but rescue the fold itself? Tom looked confused. How do you rescue a pocket dimension? By stabilizing it, Elena explained, her excitement growing. Look at the physics readings. The dimensional fold is collapsing because it's unstable. But what if we could stabilize it? Transform it from a trap into a habitat? Sarah shook her head. That's impossible. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. Not necessarily, Elena countered. The neutron star is generating massive amounts of energy. If we could find a way to channel that energy into the dimensional fold, we might be able to stabilize it. Marcus considered the proposal. Coordinator Zephyr, is such a thing possible? The theory is sound, came the reply after a moment. But the engineering challenges are immense. The energy must be precisely calibrated, or the dimensional fold will either collapse completely or expand uncontrollably. What's the alternative? Elena asked. Continue broadcasting warnings until the fold collapses naturally? That is what we have resigned ourselves to, Zephyr admitted. Better to die here than to trap more species in our fate. Marcus made his decision. We're going to try. Tom, I need you to figure out how to tap into the neutron star's energy. Sarah, I need you to plot the safest approach route. Elena, I need you to maintain communication with the survivors and coordinate our efforts. Captain, Zephyr's voice carried a new tone of hope mixed with fear. If you fail, you will be trapped here with us. Your species will lose one of its most advanced ships. Then we won't fail, Marcus replied with quiet confidence. Humanity doesn't give up easily. As the crew of the Aurora's Edge began preparations for the most challenging rescue mission in galactic history, None of them realized they were about to prove that sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the most logical. Sometimes it's the most human one. Asterisk, the impossible plan, the Aurora's Edge, hummed with activity as the crew worked around the clock for the next 72 hours. What they were attempting had never been tried before, not because other species lacked the technology, but because they lacked the audacity to even consider it. Tom Rodriguez stood in the main engineering bay, surrounded by holographic displays, showing the neutron star's energy output. The numbers were staggering. The collapsed star was generating more energy per second than Earth's sun produced in a century. "Elena," he called over the comm, "I need to know exactly how much energy the dimensional fold can handle. If we channel too much from the neutron star, we could tear apart the fabric of spacetime." In the communications lab, Elena was deep in conversation with Coordinator Zephyr and the other trapped survivors. She had managed to establish individual communication links with representatives from all 7 species trapped in the dimensional fold. "The energy requirements are delicate," explained Zephyr. "Too little, and the fold continues to collapse. Too much, and it expands beyond our ability to survive within it." "What about the other species?" Elena asked. "Do they agree with this plan?" A new voice joined the conversation, deeper and more resonant. "This is Prime Counselor Vex of the Keth Collective. We have analyzed your proposal using our most advanced computational systems. The probability of success is approximately 0.23%. "That's better odds than doing nothing," Elena replied. "Indeed," came another voice, this one melodic and flowing. "I am Song Weaver Lyra of the Moralian Federation. We have sung the mathematics of your proposal into our harmonic calculators. The resonance patterns suggest possible success, but only if the energy manipulation is precisely controlled." Elena felt a chill of excitement. How precisely? "To within." 0.001% accuracy, Vex answered. "No known technology can achieve such precision while channeling the energy of a neutron star." "Then we'll have to invent the technology," Elena said simply. On the bridge, Captain Shun was reviewing the tactical situation with Sarah Kim. The lieutenant had spent the last 3 days calculating approach vectors and energy transfer routes. "Captain," Sarah said, "I've found a way to position our ship to act as a focal point for the energy transfer. But we'll need to maintain position within 50 kilometers of the dimensional fold. Any closer and we risk being pulled in. Any farther and we can't maintain the energy beam focus." "What about the gravitational stress on the ship?" Marcus asked. "The Aurora's Edge wasn't designed for this kind of operation," Sarah admitted. "We'll be pushing every system beyond its safety limits. One miscalculation and we could be torn apart." "By gravitational forces?" Marcus nodded grimly. "Tom, what's the status on the energy channeling system?" Tom's voice came through the comm, filled with the exhaustion of someone who hadn't slept in days. "I've modified our deflector array to act as an energy conduit. The theory is sound, but Captain, we're essentially turning our ship into a giant energy weapon pointed at a pocket dimension filled with intelligent life. Can you guarantee the energy won't harm the survivors?" "I can't guarantee anything," Tom replied honestly. "We're in uncharted territory here. But I've run every simulation I can think of, and the energy should stabilize the dimensional fold without causing harm to anything inside it." Elena's voice joined the conversation. "Captain, I've been working with the survivors to fine-tune the energy requirements. They're going to help us monitor the fold stability from the inside. If something goes wrong, they can warn us immediately." "And if something goes wrong and they can't warn us?" Marcus asked. "Then we'll have to trust our instincts," Elena replied. The gamble as the Aurora's Edge moved into position, the crew felt the weight of what they were attempting. Not just the rescue of the trapped survivors, but the responsibility of potentially proving that humanity belonged among the galaxy's problem solvers. All stations report ready, Sarah announced from her tactical station. Tom's voice crackled through the cum from engineering. Energy channeling system is online. I'm reading. Massive power fluctuations from the neutron star. The stellar magnetic field is more active than we anticipated. Will that affect the operation? Marcus asked. It could actually help, Tom replied. The magnetic field variations might give us the fine control we need for energy manipulation. But it also means we'll have to constantly adjust our output to match the star's natural rhythms. Elena looked up from her communication console. Captain, I have all 7 species standing by. They're going to monitor the fold stability and guide us through the energy transfer process. This is unprecedented, came Zephyr's voice through. The speakers. Never before have so many species worked together on a single project. The coordination alone is a marvel. Humans are good at bringing people together, Elena replied, even when those people are from different species. Marcus took his position at the center of the bridge. All right, everyone. We've planned this as thoroughly as we can. Now we trust our training and our instincts. Elena, initiate contact with the survivors. Tom, begin the energy transfer sequence. Sarah, monitor all gravitational fluctuations. Beginning energy transfer in 3.2.1. Mark. The Aurora's edge shuddered as massive amounts of energy began flowing through its modified deflector array. The ship's lights flickered as power systems strained to handle the unprecedented load. Energy transfer initiated, Tom reported. Power levels are climbing steadily. So far, all systems are within acceptable parameters. Elena watched her communication displays as data flowed in from the trapped survivors. The dimensional fold is responding. I'm getting readings from inside showing initial stabilization. Gravitational fluctuations are increasing, Sarah warned. The fold is beginning to resonate with the energy input. Through the view screen, the crew could see the dimensional fold beginning to change. The rippling surface became more stable, and the halo effect around it grew brighter. Energy levels at 30%, Tom announced. All systems holding steady. Captain, came Zephyr's voice, filled with excitement. We're seeing remarkable changes inside the fold. The dimensional boundaries are strengthening. For the first time in thousands of years, we have hope. But then alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Warning, the computer announced. Gravitational stress approaching hull tolerance limits. Sarah's voice was tight with concentration. Captain, we're being pulled toward the dimensional fold. I'm firing thrusters to maintain position, but our fuel reserves are dropping rapidly. Tom, can you reduce power? Marcus asked. If I reduce power now, the fold will collapse, Tom replied. We need to maintain energy levels for at least another 10 minutes to complete the stabilization process. Elena studied her readouts. The survivors are reporting that the fold is almost stable, but the process is accelerating. The energy input is creating a feedback loop. What kind of feedback loop? Marcus demanded. The fold is beginning to generate its own energy, Elena explained. It's becoming self-sustaining, but the transition is causing massive gravitational fluctuations. Hull stress approaching critical levels, Sarah reported. We need to move away from the fold now, or we'll be torn apart. Marcus faced an impossible choice. Move away and possibly cause the fold to collapse, killing thousands of survivors. Stay in position and risk the destruction of his ship and crew. Captain, came a new voice through the communication system. This one was different, older, wiser, filled with authority. This is Elder Historian Keth of the Vorthic Unity. We have been monitoring your progress from within the fold. Elder Historian, Marcus replied. What's your assessment? Your species has achieved something remarkable, Kath said. You have turned a trap into a habitat. The dimensional fold is indeed becoming self-sustaining, but the transition requires a precise energy pulse, a final surge that will complete the stabilization. How much energy? Tom asked. Everything, Kath replied. You must channel the full power of your ship systems into the fold for exactly 4.7 seconds. No more, no less. That will drain our entire power core, Tom warned. We'll be dead in space. But the fold will be stable, Kath continued. And we will be free to help you restore your power systems. Marcus looked at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his decision. The smart choice would be to abort the mission. The logical choice would be to withdraw and report their findings to Earth Command. But Marcus Chun was human, and humans didn't always make the logical choice. Tom, prepare for full power transfer, he ordered. Elena, warn the survivors. Sarah, plot a course away from the fold the moment the energy transfer is complete. Captain, Sarah said quietly, if this doesn't work, we'll be trapped here with them. Then we'll have to make it work, Marcus replied. The human touch. All systems ready for full power transfer, Tom announced. Initiating in 3.2. 1. Now. The Aurora's edge went dark as every bit of power was channeled into the energy transfer. Emergency lighting flickered on as the ship's backup systems activated. Through the view screen, the crew watched as the dimensional fold blazed with brilliant light. Energy transfer complete, Tom reported. All primary systems offline. For a moment, there was silence. Then Elena's communication system crackled to life. Aurora's edge. This is Coordinator Zephyr. The dimensional fold is stable. Repeat. The fold is stable. We are free. Through the view screen, the crew could see the dimensional fold had transformed. What had been a rippling, unstable anomaly was now a perfect sphere of contained spacetime. It pulsed gently with its own internal energy, no longer dependent on the neutron star for stability. Captain, came Elder Historian Keth's voice, we owe you a debt that can never be repaid. 7 species, over 50,000 individuals, are alive because of your courage and ingenuity. More than that, added Songweaver Lyra, you have shown us something we had forgotten. Sometimes the most advanced solution is not the most complex. 1. Sometimes it requires the willingness to risk everything for others. As the crew of the Aurora's Edge watched, ships began emerging from the dimensional fold. They were like nothing humans had ever seen. Vessels that seemed to be made of living crystal, others that appeared to be constructed from pure energy, and still others that defied easy description. Captain Chun, came Zephyr's voice, we would like to make a proposal. We have been isolated for thousands of years, but we have not been idle. We have technologies that could benefit your species greatly. We would like to share them with you. That's not necessary, Marcus replied. We didn't come here for reward. We know, Zephyr said. That is precisely why we want to share them with you. Your species has something that we had lost, the willingness to help others without expecting anything in return. Prime Counselor Vex's voice joined the conversation. Captain, we have analyzed the records of the 17 failed rescue attempts. All were mounted by species seeking to gain favor with the trapped survivors, hoping for technological or territorial advantages. But humans came simply because someone needed help, added Songweaver Lyra. This is remarkable. This is what the galaxy needs. Elena looked up from her console. Captain, they're offering to help us restore our power systems. They also want to provide us with improved technology for future exploration missions. Tom's voice came through the com, filled with excitement. Captain, they're transmitting engineering data that's decades ahead of anything we have. With these improvements, we could explore regions of space we never thought possible. Marcus considered the offer. What do you want in return? Partnership. Zephyr replied. We want humanity to carry word of what happened here to the rest of the galaxy. We want other species to know that cooperation and selflessness can achieve what competition and self-interest cannot. And, added elder historian Keth, we want to learn from humans. Your species has shown us that sometimes the most valuable trait is not intelligence or technology, but the courage to care about others. Over the next several hours, the survivors worked to restore the Aurora's Edge to full operational status. But they did more than just repair the ship. They improved it. A vessel that had arrived as a simple research ship was now one of the most advanced vessels in known space. The message as the Aurora's Edge prepared to depart the Kepler 442 system, Elena compiled a comprehensive report of their mission. The message would be transmitted to Earth Command, but also to the communication networks of every known spacefaring species. Captain's log, supplemental, Marcus recorded. Mission to Kepler 442 successful. We have confirmed the existence of 7 spacefaring species and established peaceful contact. More importantly, we have learned that the key to solving impossible problems is not always advanced technology or superior intelligence. Sometimes it's the willingness to risk everything for others. Elena looked up from her communication console. Captain, I'm receiving messages from across the galaxy. News of our success is spreading faster than we anticipated. What kind of messages? Marcus asked. Congratulations, mostly. But also requests. Species that have been trying to solve their own impossible problems for centuries are asking for human assistance. Tom joined them on the bridge, his coveralls now clean and his face showing the satisfaction of a job well done. Captain, with the technology the survivors shared with us, we could help other species with problems they've been unable to solve. Sarah looked up from her tactical station. We could become the galaxy's problem solvers. Not because we're the smartest or most advanced, but because we're willing to try solutions others won't consider. Marcus nodded slowly. That's a big responsibility. It's also a big opportunity, Elena added. We could help build a galaxy where species work together instead of competing against each other. As the Aurora's Edge began its journey back to Earth, its crew carried with them more than just advanced technology and new knowledge. They carried the knowledge that humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or competitors, but as the species willing to help others solve their impossible problems. The message they transmitted to Earth Command was simple, but profound. Mission accomplished. Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars, not as rulers, but as helpers. The galaxy is vast and full of challenges, but together there is no problem we cannot solve. In the days that followed, the Aurora's Edge received hundreds of messages from species across the galaxy. Each message carried the same basic request. We have heard what humans can do. We have problems we cannot solve. Can you help us? And Captain Marcus Chun, looking at his crew of brave, determined humans, knew that the answer would always be the same. Yes, we'll find a way. The age of human exploration had begun, not with conquest or colonization, but with the simple human desire to help others in need. And across the galaxy, species that had never worked together before began to cooperate, inspired by the example of a small research ship that had dared to attempt the impossible. The Aurora's Edge had saved more than 50,000 lives. It had saved the idea that in a vast, often hostile universe, there were still those willing to risk everything for complete strangers. And that, more than any advanced technology, was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Asterisk.